grand opening, grand closing. Welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. Your only friend these YouTube streets, Puerto77, and welcome to the video. I hope you enjoy it. We got some tea to spill today. Oh yeah, right here, PlayStation Bungie. We're getting some more details. Rumors of a hostile takeover. It sounds like Sony's like, nah, this little independent bullshit, nah, it's time to colonize this whole deal. We don't know what racket you guys going on, but this ain't passing a sniff test. What am I talking about? Wait a minute. Isn't Bungie supposed to be independent? Isn't it supposed to be shared, mutual respect? Man, boy, this is business. And Sony stand on business. They're not liking the way things are going. Hey, let's break it down. This was article from IGN, all right? And let me blow it up so that way you guys can see it. But I'll read it. I will narrate. You know what I'm saying? I will narrate, so you can get that little sazon to this story, because that's what I bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to let you know. You know what? Let's read about it. It says right here, big title. Bungie dev says atmosphere is soul crushing amid layoffs, cuts, and fear of total Sony takeover. Ooh. All right, this right here. Let's read through the nitty gritty. Thanks to Rebecca Valentine. Do you think she kind of churches up her last name to Valentine, to make it all fancy? Rebecca. I mean, look how she spelled Rebecca with a K. Rebecca Valentine. I don't know. Hey, let's get to the story. All right. 1 month after a major round of layoffs impacted roughly 100 Bungie employees of 1,200, those remaining at the Destiny developer says the cuts, as well as other cost-cutting measures, came alongside an apparent scramble by studio leadership to avoid a total Sony takeover. So now, if you remember, about a month ago, whatever, so, Bungie cut off a lot of players, a lot of developers, laid off, and everybody was blaming Sony and stuff like that. But come to find out, it was Bungie staff that was doing it, the actual heads of Bungie. But nobody really knew why or what was going on. Development trouble, yada, yada, yada. But no, we got the tea right here. As it currently stands, Bungie is on paper. Oh, you get to see my face. My bad. On paper, a fully independent. Would have been bad if you would have saw me caught doing some weird shit, right? That's how weird shit happens on the internet. I'm just saying. That's how dudes get caught out there. Fully independent subsidiary of Sony. But its board of directors has been divided since the takeover in July of 2022. Among its current members are PlayStation Studio heads Herman Hulst, Sony Senior Vice President Eric Lampel, Bungie co-founder Jason Jones, Bungie CTO Luis Villegas, and Bungie CEO Pete Parsons. The board as a whole is split between Sony and Bungie representatives, with Pete Parsons serving as the tiebreaker vote. So we got some good details. So the board of directors is actually a mixture of Sony, right? Of Sony, PlayStation figureheads, and Bungie figureheads, right? And the breaking tie is the CEO, Bungie. That's how they remain there independent. Because, hey, Sony says, oh, we want you to do this. And Bungie guys say, no, we want to do this. The Bungie guy says it. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, since he's the tiebreaker of the board, he most likely is going to side with Bungie, staff more often than not. So that's how they do things independently. The board makes a decision. They got the tie-breaking votes. And we all know about votes. Right? You got to get the votes, dog. In this case, Sony, they probably like, yo, we want to make Marathon exclusives. We vote yay. So all the three guys, who's there? Herman Hulst, Eric Lampel, right? They were like, yeah, that's us. But Bungie, Jason Jones and Big Louie was like, nah, that's going to Xbox, dog. So we had a tie. Time to go to the tiebreaker. And then that's when, CEO Pete Parsons like, multi-plat. Vote decided. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it goes. The board as a whole is split between Sony and Bungie representatives, with Parsons serving as a tiebreaker vote. But speaking to IGN on the condition of anonymity, multiple current and former Bungie employees described a department meeting that took place shortly after the layoffs, in which leaders hinted that this shared power may not last forever. Sony did not respond to IGN's request for comment on this piece. Bungie declined to comment. You need to read the fine print, dog. What do you think? Sony was just going to give you billions of dollars just because of actual advice? Shit. You better get them lawyers. Better read the documents. Let's read right here. Declaration of Dependence. Declaration of Independence. Declaration of Dependence. While the exact details of Sony's deal to acquire Bungie remain unknown to the public or employees, sources say they were told by leaders that the current split board structure is contingent on Bungie meeting certain financial goals. If Bungie falls short of certain financial thresholds by too great an amount, Sony is allowed to dissolve the existing board and take full control of the company. And with Destiny 2 expansion, the final shape delayed into the next fiscal year, and Bungie still investing heavily on Marathon, many employees understand that Bungie is struggling to meet the necessary targets to keep its last vestige of freedom. Such a takeover wouldn't necessarily be shocking given its 2022 acquisition, but it would nevertheless be a stunning development for a company that has historically prided itself on its independence. That's the fine print when they made these deals. Sony's like, cool, you have your independence, contingent on one thing. You guys have to meet certain financial metrics. You cannot suck hind tit, lose money, and not make stuff. You get billions from us, you get all this freedom, you get all this stuff from us, but you guys are sucking ass. Nah. If you don't meet certain financial things, we have the power, not we, but Sony has the power to dissolve all this nonsense. This whole little board bullshit, yeah, we shutting this shit down. Deal? Destiny's like, shit, we Bungie. I mean, Bungie's like, shit, we Bungie, we make that money. Bro, do you not see our financials? Do you need seeing our financials? Where the pen at? Where the pen at? They got the pen? Hell, they didn't even grab a pen. They took a needle and said, dook. It was bleeding. And they said, threw that shit in Jim Ryan's face. That shit, they just flung that shit and that shit just slapped him. That's probably why he had to retire. Got a concussion. You know, he couldn't take it no more. He couldn't take the disrespect no more. But man, when you make a deal with the devil, and it's time to pay, devil will come for his due. Bungie. Let's see what's more. It was this threat looming that Bungie leadership, not Sony according to Parsons, made the choice to lay off roughly 100 employees last month. But the cost cutting at Bungie isn't limited to just personnel. Multiple current employees confirmed to IGN that the company has implemented numerous other cost-cutting measures recently, including a studio-wide hiring freeze, reduced travel budgets, elimination of holiday bonuses, keeping its annual Bungie Day virtual, delaying its week-long company Pentalon event to next December, and reducing numerous morale events such as cooking and knitting classes from monthly to quarterly. Hold up. Cooking and knitting classes? No wonder these goddamn expansion packs be taking forever. Motherfuckers out here knitting. What the hell is you knitting, dog? Like, really? I mean, I can understand maybe Pilates, you know, get your workout on, you know, get the dude that does P90X and stuff, and, you know, get Sean T and do some insanity, like, or go take some boxing, do some jujitsu, whoop a motherfucker's ass. The hell you gonna do with knitting? You try to make sweaters? Y'all work out of California. It's hot as fuck out here in this December. The hell y'all knitting for? No wonder it takes forever for y'all games to be coming out. Y'all out here cooking and knitting. Stop it. Y'all motherfuckers eat at Starbucks and you live in California. Y'all be bull. No wonder they want this one. Sony just standing here like, yo, these guys delaying shit, taking forever, telling Naughty Dog that their shit ain't working, and you out here knitting. Man, boy, we better hear crunch. Bullshit. Anyway, where was I at? Bungie is also pausing or fully ending benefits like annual employee compensation adjustments to meet market rates, its new hire lunch program, employee donation matching, its peer recognition program, and gift cards for employees' birthdays. And yearly studio performance bonuses this year will only be contractually obligated 80% minimum after being above 100% for good performances several previous years running. So that's it. Sad to say, in all seriousness though, that's what businesses do when it tries to do some huge major cuts. It's always going to be the personnel. It's always going to be personnel related. HR comes in, laid off, cut this program, cut that program, cut these benefits, reduce these packages, blah, blah, blah. And they just keep chopping, because that's like the very quick way to try to meet certain metrics when it comes to financials. Now we understand the reason why Bungie's doing this. They had to get rid of the few and cut these packages in hopes they can maintain their freedom and independence. That's really what it is. That's the whole deal. Sony out here is just like, hey, you guys all right? And Bungie's just trying to do what they got to do to try to survive. You got to go. Oh, yeah, I got to go. No bonuses for you. Man, they didn't cut that shit out. Your sweaters are ugly anyway. Cooking, go eat out. All right? Go eat out. You know, they're doing what they can because overall goal is they want to maintain their independence. Let's read on. It says here, along with recent layoffs, this has resulted in a massive decay in morale within the company, according to IGN sources, one of whom told us that the mood within the studio has been soul crushing over the last month. It doesn't sound like management is making any significant efforts towards improving the atmosphere either. According to those still with the company, employee frustration and sadness in the days and weeks following the layoffs was met with a surprising amount of indifference or even outright flippancy or hostility from management. Several people we spoke to told us that leaders have reiterated across multiple meetings that they couldn't guarantee there wouldn't be more layoffs, with two specifically confirming previous reports that Chief People Officer Holly Barbakovi outright stating that layoffs were a lever the company would pull again. We know we need Final Shape to do well, one source told IGN. And the feeling at the studio is that if it doesn't, we're definitely looking at more layoffs. Now, this is where the challenges of management and being in charge or whatever, right? The morale, of the work environment is crushing. So what can you do to actually fix the morale? You really can't. The only thing you can do as, management or as just being a leader is you have to be upfront. Everybody's grown adults. Now, there's going to be some people that's just not going to be happy no matter what. And it's just like, hey, you're just whatever it is, what it is. Some people are just not going to be happy. There's nothing you can do about that. But what you can do is be upfront. You got to tell the workers, the work environment and professionally, let everybody know, hey, this is what's going on. This is where we're at. If we don't meet certain financial obligations, we will no longer be independent. And by we mean Bungie as a whole. Sony will then have 100% control of everything Bungie does. So guess what? Has to be cost-cutting measures. We have, the company has to do things to their best to meet the financial obligations to remain independent. This is where it's one of those scenarios where the strategy of the company takes over than the individual pieces of or it takes over. It's more important than the actual individuals of the business, and that sucks. I got it, but it doesn't matter if you're catering to individuals, and then all of a sudden Sony takes over, and then they fire everybody anyway. And I will tell you that will happen. Sony takes over. There's going to be some layoffs. I'm gonna let you. There's going to be more layoffs. I will tell you that up front right now. And you guys could say, oh, I don't understand why. You don't know shit, Puerto Rock. And you're right, I'm not a CEO. But there's certain things that I do know just in general with industry, with businesses of any type. Businesses do not like redundancy in they have to spend, right? So let's say if Bungie has a department that deals with equal opportunity, let's say that, or human resource. Sony's going to be like, why do we need a Bungie specific equal opportunity, whatever, when you can just take them and absorb them and have them fall under our own overall Sony overarching equal opportunity program. Think about it that way, right? Let's say if Bungie has their own little administration system for mail and parcel and delivery. Sony will shut all personnel doing that and just be part of our system that we already have established. We're not going to spend extra money on things that or capabilities that Sony parent company has that Bungie could use, vice having your own specific stuff. Now they have their own specific stuff because they're independent. But once that independence is gone, once you're no longer independent, Sony's just going to make you use whatever they have already established. And all that stuff you have, they're just going to cut it off. They're going to trim the fat at this point. Right? So, yeah. Others said they were rebuffed repeatedly and discouraged from even discussing the layoffs whenever they try to ask questions. Employees in one department recalled a post-layoff QA session where a department head was asked if leadership taking salary cuts to prevent layoffs had been considered, only to respond that Bungie was not that type of company. What's more, sources we spoke to pointed out that many of the Bungie employees who were laid off were beloved community leaders within the studio, including many who had spearheaded employee inclusion and support efforts. Several people we spoke to express anger at the layoff of Bungie General Counsel Don McGowan, who played a key role in Bungie winning an historic suit against a player who harassed a Bungie developer. Others laid off included a noticeable number of members of Bungie's DE&I clubs, including co-heads of Pride at Bungie, Women at Bungie, and Accessibility at Bungie. Oh, wow. Speak of the devil. When combined with other recent resource cuts, these dismissals have led to fears that these clubs might be shut down. While researching this article, IGN noted that the public news articles announcing Women at Bungie and Accessibility at Bungie on its official blog were no longer accessible on the Bungie website, though it's unclear exactly when or why this happened, or if it's just an unintentional recurring bug with the blog. I am angry. I'm upset. This isn't what I came here to do, one person said. It feels like many higher-ups aren't listening to the data and are like, we just need to win our fans back. They still like us. No, they don't. We got rid of some of our most knowledgeable, beloved folks who have been here for 20 plus years. Every day I walk in afraid that I and my friends are next. No one is safe. Now, this is the crazy part, right? Because, again, this is a battle of Bungie trying to maintain independence. So money has to be cut, right? It's one of two ways. You either have an idea to make a lot of money within this time frame, or you got to cut. Final Shape's not coming out anytime soon, and they are heavily investing in Marathon. What does that mean? You're spending, and you're not really drawing in revenue. You're just not. So this is where Bungie is at this point in time. Now, it's funny because, I use my equal opportunity as an example, and that's exactly what they did. But Bungie made that decision themselves. So why would Bungie purposely say, you know what, we could cut all these guys off? It's not because they don't believe in equal opportunity or that stuff. I'm sure they believe all that stuff. But I'm pretty sure the leadership in Bungie realizes, you know what, Sony has these programs too. We're just going to start using Sony's. They already have it funded. It's part of their budget. We're just going to use it. It's free. That's just how it is. And I had a feeling it was going to be something like this. Let's keep going. Bungie eroding. Another anxiety source discussed with us was that many of the reductions made at Bungie recently were part of a broader move toward outsourcing. Multiple individuals across various departments told us they heard discussions within their teams of plans to increase outsourcing both before and in the wake of layoffs. One team where those discussions have already become reality is in quality assurance. While outsourcing Q&A is extremely common practice industry-wide, Bungie historically has also enlisted an army of in-house embedded QA testers working with individual teams. It's a setup the studio has prided itself on for years now, but QA sources within the studio are now afraid that strategy is on its way out. We previously reported that Bungie's Q&A team saw a rash of mysterious departures in the months before the layoffs, and also noticed a team-wide culture shift towards a general pool of testers consisting of both in-house and outsourced individuals. Former and current QA department members at Bungie tell us that in the last year, the team has seen increasing workloads and responsibility, with more and more disciplinary actions taken for seemingly minor infractions. It also perceives growing hostility from team and company leadership, including a meeting in which Q&A was said to be referred to by leaders as non-developers. Total, sources tell us that over 10% of Bungie's internal Q&A department was either fired or laid off between early October and early November, including both the reported layoffs and the departures leading up to them. And I've been hearing about that as well. I've been hearing a lot about Q&A is being like just outsourced, right? So why outsource? Well, outsourcing labor means you ain't got full-time employment. You don't get full-time packages, full-time benefits. You know, they put you in, you're there for a year, and you're gone. You know, it's a cost-setting measure, and I'm assuming Q&A testing is something that you don't need. I ain't gonna assume the level of skill that you need, but I think maybe they feel you don't need to have someone that's just embedded in your team for 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 years to have proper QA testing. I don't know. That's an industry decision. I think there's better people than me to explain that. But again, what's the whole point of this? They gotta cut money. They gotta cut spending really to save money to stay within that boundary. Because the devil's coming for his due. In a year that will go down in gaming history due to the sheer number of layoffs and studio closures, Bungie's situation nonetheless stands out, and not for good reason. It is well known long-standing studios that, despite historic culture problems, have managed to cultivate an increasingly positive community of fans around a beloved game while improving its own internal culture by gradual degrees. But in the wake of an acquisition that shocked many Bungie employees we've spoken to, and which seemed out of character with the studio's independent streak, it feels too many like that's all falling apart. Beloved colleagues have been laid off, benefits are vanishing, and many feel the more people-oriented, as one source put it, culture of recent years is being torn to pieces by the very Bungie leaders that touted it for so long. Seemingly, also, those same leaders can retain a vestige of control over a company that's already been sold away anyway. Folks, still there are very much feelings us versus them between leadership and workers. One person said that trust has been eroded. Given their recent actions, the question of whether or not Sony will finally manage to swallow Bungie whole in a few months seems less and less important than the question of what Bungie's current management will do to lead the company forward today. Ooh, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Oh, to summarize, Bungie losing that money and Sony about to take over. F around and find out. Now, this is the question of the hour, because this is why you came to the channel. Porter Rock, how do you feel about this? Because I know you didn't come here just, you could have just read the damn thing yourself. You could have just read it yourself. You know you read it. Yeah? Maybe you wouldn't have a little bit of sazon. Some of y'all, ain't got no seasoning. Some of y'all got too much seasoning. Y'all wanted the little right mixture, right? So how do I feel about this? This is a message to Sony, and I'm gonna be real. Like, Sony, come here. Take a good look at me, Sony. Take a good look at me. You need to take them motherfuckers over. Take them motherfuckers over. Stop this. Listen, I'm gonna tell you. I said this before. If you guys notice on this channel, I didn't really like super hyped the Bungie acquisition. Once they talked about independence and all this stuff, they're still gonna make games for Xbox PC, and they're supposed to, help out. I'm like, get out. Who gives? Whatever. Fine. Hopefully, the talent can help. Other PlayStation studios make better multiplayer games. Whatever. But I said we really got nothing out of this, and by we, I'm talking PS5 gamers. I don't care about everyone else. And I'm not saying I don't care, as in I don't wish you guys good health or whatever. That's different. I'm just talking about if you play on PC and you're afraid of not getting Bungie games. Oh well. If you play on Xbox, hell, that's not it's shit. Unless it's on Game Pass, you wouldn't play it anyway. But oh well, it's whatever. Now the reason why I can feel that way, where if the game starts becoming exclusive, like if Sony takes over and now the games are exclusive to PS5. Because I already know what some of y'all are saying. Porter X trying to keep games away from us. He's gatekeeping. No, I am not gatekeeping. No. Only reason why you are not able to play the game is because you don't want to get the device that you want to play on, right? You're not going to hear me cry about, oh my God, I couldn't play Starfield. Xbox community is gatekeeping. Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to play Elder Scrolls 6. No. There's none of that. Anybody could play any game. You just gotta go after it. Now I already know the story. But what about the people that can afford it? The low income, whatever. Trust me, they have bigger things to worry about than video games. Food, clothes, housing. You know, some of those dudes are wondering if they'll be able to pay the next rent on the first. All right, so don't even try the whole poor little Timmy. Nah, we're not doing that here. You know, you're not gonna virtual signal the low income people in this conversation. No, not especially in the conversation of our expensive hobby. Nah, we're not doing that. Not doing that. Low income people have bigger things to worry about than whether or not a game's exclusive. Not here. Right? But me, take it over, Sony. Right? And here's the thing. When did Sony, or PlayStation publisher now all of a sudden become bad? Like, why wouldn't you want Bungie be under PlayStation publishing? The studios love it. You hear Santa Monica begging for freedom. You hear Sony San Diego begging for freedom. You hear Naughty Dog begging for freedom. You don't hear none of these studios begging for freedom. In fact, people who used to work for Sony that no longer work for them, they all tell you that it's a fantastic publisher. That working with them has been fantastic and stuff like that. With them in control, they take care of everything that you need. But I guess for Bungie, it's different. No, Bungie would be better. The main fear is exclusivity because Sony that dude. Sony that dude. PlayStation that dude. They will tell Bungie, yeah, that's not on Xbox. Yeah. They might let them get away with PC. They might say, you can have PC. We'll let you rock with PC. But that Xbox, nobody buying it, bro. And we not trying to have deals with Game Pass. And these dudes they're not trying to spend $70. Hell, they're crying over buying Grand Theft Auto 6. They're hoping that goes to Game Pass day one. No. Can't do it. Do it. And Sony that dude. Hey, when the devil's old, the devil's gonna come for its due. So me, take it. Like, come here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Put them under your wing. Like let me. You gotta grab him and be like, yo, come here. You're gonna right here. Or better yet, you know what? Not even. They're gonna whip out the pocket and be like, yo, this is my pants pocket. Bungie, hold on to that. You know what I'm saying? This is D block, the prison yard. Hold on to my pants pocket, Bungie. Yeah, you hold on to that. That's it. And Sony gonna be like this. While Bungie's like, you know what I'm saying? Hold on to that pants pocket, Bungie. That's it. It's a wrap. Sony, take it over. We done with it. We done with this nonsense. We done with this weird. We want our independence. See? Now I know some of you goes, what about MLB? That's different. Oh, but it's different, right? Keep the same energy. No, that's different. Because MLB owns MLB. That's their shit. They own it. There is nothing Sony can do. Nothing. The only choice Sony had was just not to make the game, which they're too invested into it because they literally have a studio that was made for that game, which is San Diego Studios. To which rumor has it. Can you hear this? ASMR or AM, whatever y'all want to call it. That turns you on. Disgusting. You guys are disgusting. Supposedly, they're making a game separately from MLB. I don't know what they got cooking, but apparently they got cooking something. They're still making MLB, but Sony greenlighted a project. So San Diego Studios, I don't know. But to end the conversation, my stance, acquire Bungie 100%. Who would have thought that the studio that made the very best games the Xbox brand ever had in its existence is now the studio that is now, or could be, a fully first-party owned developer? Man, that shit must sting. It hurts, don't it? Hurts. Your very best games came from this studio. Your absolute hell, your whole existence is because of this studio. If it wasn't for this studio, nobody would give a damn about Xbox. Why you think? You think we care because of Otagi? Crimson Skies? No, the screen's not frozen. Anyway, take it over. Wrap them up. Put them on the Sony. PlayStation first party developer. Official. Not this independent coexist. Nah, not these board members. Nah. You are under. You're right there with everybody else. But don't worry, PlayStation Publishing is going to take good care of you. And produce them bangers. Produce them goldies. Because that's what they do. They produce goldies. You know? And we get our PS5 exclusives. You know, actually built for the console. Bungie games built for the console. Taking advantage of what the console do. You know, games being made on Xbox Series S. Anyway, that's another conversation for another time. But anyway, let me know what you think about this video. How do you feel? Are you tired of the nonsense? You know, to my PS5 gamers, wrap that shit up. Give me the goddamn keys to the car. We driving now. Hit up the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, stick around. Subscribe. Watch some of my previous videos. They're all recent and current. I'm sure you'll enjoy those videos too. Enjoy them. And hey, I got a podcast every Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 60 frames, no lag podcast. The podcast where we make Emperor Baron cry all day. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch it and you'll see. Anyway, you guys take care. Your only friend, me, in these YouTube streets. Puerto77. I am out. Peace.
Grand opening, grand closing.